Good afternoon, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Accountants Connection webinar series brought to you by Your Business First. Today's topic is the 5 key areas to consider when planning for 2020, and I'll welcoming everybody to the webinar for the first time for 2020. My name is Darren Xerri. I'm the CEO and Principal Consultant of Your Business First, and I started out in business management and practice management since 1996. Always working with professional services firms, but in particular legal accounting firms as well, as a role as general manager and practice manager. At a high level, my role was to implement best practice and ensure quality assurance with those practices in the area of business operations and administration, human resource management, policies and procedures, additional service offerings, due diligence, and presentations. I've also worked with firms who have been acquired or been merged to enable the smooth transition, and have recorded and documented the workflow process for professional services firms and written the client onboarding process as well. Your Business First this year is going to launch probably after June, July, the 8 steps to building a professional services firm, which is going to be a workshop. And right now we're hosting the Accountants Connection webinar series, in which we provide information, education, and knowledge to the accounting profession. And we also engage third parties and experts who provide products and services to the accounting profession and talk about their products as well. If you want to find out more or have a look at some of the webinars that we've done with these providers, please feel free to have a look at our YouTube channel, which is Your Business First. So I created Your Business First earlier this year, and focusing on working with accounting firms in the areas of business administration and operations. I work primarily in Victoria, but we have got clients, and I've got clients around Australia as well. I like to think why my clients love working with Your Business First is fourfold. One, it is results focused and providing results and keeping each other accountable. Also, as part of a uniqueness with respect to Your Business First, I am a relationship builder. So I form relationships with for accounting firms, for strategic alliances and with third parties as well. And I also understand that all accounting firms are different. No, there's no cookie cutter approach to the consulting or to the implementation management services that we provide. And lastly, another uniqueness, as I mentioned, is that we are implementers as well. So if you don't have the tools, resources, or infrastructure to implement your plan or your strategy or your goals, I come in and implement it for you, and we keep each other accountable. However, the vision for me is to be the most valued and respected business partner to businesses in Australia today, and that includes the clients of accounting firms as well. So the frustrations that I see accounting firms face in my career and since I've started Your Business First falls in relation to 6 areas. And it relates to cash flow and profit, time, people. Nothing seems to be working. You know, you've attended the workshops, you've attended webinars such as today. Whatever you take away from them, you want to implement, but it just doesn't seem to stick. And there's also a bit of lack of control as well. You feel like your business is stuck. And you're once going on a great trend, and for some reason you've deviated from that trend as well. You're not growing fast enough, or you're growing too fast, and it's been inefficient. You never been as efficient or as profitable as you like because of the growth phase, and you just want more balance in your life. And another frustration I see with accounting firms as well is that there's no succession plan in place, and when they do come to the time to sell or merge, they need to clean up their business so they can maximize the return. On the bottom of the screen or at the top of the screen, there will be a Q&A button. If you've got any questions or queries that you have in relation to the webinar today, please feel free to enter those queries or questions, and we'll attend to them at the end. But also, if this is the frustrations that I've experienced there relating to those 6 key factors, if you believe there's any other frustrations as well that accounting firms have experienced that you've seen, I'm happy to have a look at those as well and share them with those in attendance today. So before we get started, what I'd like to share with you first is that start with the end in mind. What are we trying to build here as far as your accounting firm's concerned, and basically why you got into the profession in the first place. And we'll talk a bit about that in a couple of slides' time. The areas to consider when planning is it is a long-term view, and it's also a view that we work with, that we're constantly refining, and it's not a quick fix. If we're looking for a quick fix today, you might get some ideas, but it may not be the webinar for you. But the webinar is designed to free up your time and to focus more on your clients. And if you've got a team, you're mentoring your team as well. The ideas and tips here are provided today will be at a high level, and we won't be going into the detail on the how. But at the same time, you may have already implemented some of these tips before, and that's fantastic. And I'd love to hear how you've done that as well, and if it's been done to success. But this is just a start, and there could be other topics that you need to consider that'll be far more important than what I'm providing today. However, what I do like to share with you is that over the last few years, as we're all aware, is that there's been a lot of noise within the profession. There's been noise in relation to accounting firms needing to provide value-added services as part of this service offering, the implementation of cloud and disruption of cloud and what's that brought to the market, and as an extension of that, the add-ons to those cloud products as well. We've all heard the notion about compliance, and compliance is dead, and also how accounting firms are now adopting outsourcing, whether it's offshoring or onshoring as well. So we'll be talking about all these during the course of the webinar, and it'd be great to hear your feedback as well in the Q&A section. So the agenda for today, we'll start with what type of firm that you're trying to create, and we've got that's on the next slide. The 5 key areas to consider for 2020, which I believe it's delegation of duties, documented processes and procedures, human resources management, adding additional services, information technology as well. There will be questions. We'll go through the questions if any people provided the questions, and there'll be an exciting offer at the end for you. And thank you very much for those attendees who have provided questions during the registration. We'll go through this during the course of the webinar. So what type of firm are you creating? As I said, this is starting with the end in mind. You're growing your business, or you're building your business to sell. What does that look like, and what does that entail? Are you creating a legacy for your family? Lifestyle ideas as well. Having you being less reliant on you as the owner. Do you want to work a couple hours a day, or take a day off once a week? What are you trying to build, and what are you trying to create? You're just trying to improve the profitability, or the workflow, or the efficiency, or a combination of those, or is it something else? Going from chaos back into control, what does that mean, and what do you need to do that, and to achieve that? Do you want to be the essential partner to your clients, and what does that look like? Is it creating a business that is a one-stop shop for your clients? And if it is, what are those service offerings that you want to provide? Are there other things that you want to consider when you want that you're trying to create when you're creating your firm and trying to build your firm? So let's get into it. Again, before we start, this is going to be fairly dry, so I'll try and get through as much information as I can. So take plenty of notes, and again, happy to hear your queries and thoughts. I'm in the Q&A section. So let's get into it. Delegation. A lot of partners of accounting firms and owners of accounting firms are taking on, I believe, too much of the non-income producing, and they're not focusing enough on that, or part of employee development. So all those non-income producing activities that you're doing, who can you delegate to? If you've got a team, are they reliable enough you can delegate to? And if not, do you need to hire additional employees? You may want to consider outsourcing those non-income producing activities too. Is it going to be onshoring or offshoring? But whatever you do, whether you've got a team, need to add a team, or onshoring, offshoring, you need to invest a certain amount of time into the training. And how much time is that? How are they going to be kept accountable? Don't forget, this is a long-term view. So the more we invest now in the delegation process, the beneficial it will be for you as the owner to focus more on the working on the business. Do they need KPIs? Do they need benchmarks or constant mentoring? But most importantly, what is the cost of you of not delegating based on your charge hour rate that we need to consider? The second area to consider when planning for 2020 is to document the processes. So from time to time when I'm visiting clients and talking about their workflow and their IP, so to speak, one thing that constantly comes into mind is that people doing their own thing and they've got using different tools and templates and checklists, etc. That needs to stop. So let's start with 4 simple basics. Let's look at the engagement letters for all groups. Your client onboarding process, your workflow process, and as an extension of that, your work papers, letter templates, and checklists as well. So let's get into it. So as far as the engagement letters is concerned, for those of you that have attended some of my webinars previously, everybody knows how I strongly encourage that all firms provide engagement letters to all their client groups. The engagement letters define the business agreement between you and the client, and it outlines the fee structure, responsibilities, and obligations of the firm and the client. And without it, each party can be in limbo. And let's face the facts. It is a requirement as part of your membership body as well. So every client needs an engagement letter. But the engagement letter does serve a bigger purpose, and it's not just a contract. The engagement letter helps you set the expectations and also lays a foundation, or a solid foundation rather, for a working relationship between the practice and your clients. They ensure transparency and demonstrate professionalism right from the start. And as everybody is aware, by having an engagement letter, it reduces scope creep. When you've set the expectations with your client and it's clearly laid out what's included with your services, you'll reduce the scope creep. And in your engagement letter, you may want to include what's not included in your engagement letter and specify that. But you can also specify how you'll proceed if the client needs more work done. That's not part of the scope of the business, of the engagement. And engagement letters help you reduce risk. With some insurance companies, particularly with professional liability insurance, they want copies of engagement letters that you've been provided to your clients, and hopefully this will reduce the premiums that needs to be paid, and reduce the liability and the risk of doing business. But some of the other points that you can cover off in your engagement letter. One is your fee arrangements. Do your clients know how they can pay for their invoices and for your services? Is it via credit card, a direct debit facility? Do you offer BPay, a payment through your website, a third-party payment system as well? All those factors in relation to payments and how they can go about paying for your business. And you may want to consider that they pay 100% upfront, that there may be a discount. And also in relation to outsourced services, you may need to check with your membership body as to the requirements for this disclosure, but you need to outline the geographical location of the outsourced service provider and the nature and the extent to which the outsourced services are used in the delivery of your service to your client. So with some membership bodies, not only are you required to disclose that you outsource, but you need to disclose where you outsource to and their names. And we can also try and creating ongoing engagement letters and making sure that you can cover off on fee increases in the future, such as CPI increases or a percentage increase as well. This will probably save you doing another engagement letter in the future. But again, you may need to check with your membership body. And that also depends if the scope of the work remains the same as per last year. The other thing we need to document and get consistent and get right is your client onboarding process. And that's that wow factor for that new client coming on board. By definition, I define a client onboarding process from inquiry stage to when they sign the engagement letter. So what does that process mean, and how are you doing it? Most, if not all, of you do have an onboarding process, but maybe whether or not it's documented or it's in your mind. This probably present a good time for you, that if you do have a team, that you may want to delegate at least the administration and the running of the client onboarding process to another person. but making sure that you catch up with the client at the required stage. So what is your process from lead to inquiry to sign up? Who is responsible for what? What is the relevant timing between stages? And what does a prospective client or customer receive and when? Is it copies of testimonials or links to other service offerings through your website, or an introduction from the accountant who's going to be working on the file? Do you need to consider a CRM? For those who are just starting off and not having a proper or a client onboarding process that's been set up, maybe a spreadsheet is a good start. But sometimes when a client does come on board, they come on board with you more from an emotional sense than from a cost sense. They haven't got the value that they felt they deserved from their previous accountant, and they won't provide the service that they thought that they should be getting or they deserve to get. So what do you need to achieve in the first 30 to 60 days to enhance that wow factor with the client? Again, I've written a client onboarding process, and I'm happy to talk to people about it if they need to discuss how they can create one. Another area of documented processes is your workflow. And what do we mean by that? So the workflow means is that all the work that we do from an accounting and compliance point of view, doing a capacity plan in May and June, and identifying which jobs you want to come in and when. The way I've worked with my clients in the past to great success is to schedule their top 30, 50, or maybe 100 clients, or maybe the A and B clients, and schedule a time with them and ask them to bring the work in first. Why do I do that? I do that for a couple of reasons. One, generally their books are fairly clean with their bookkeeper. And two, they're good payers and they'll pay on time, and they'll work well with the cash flow at the start of the financial year. But by having a proper documented process for workflow, it reduces the human error component. Each step in the process should have its own script, have its own template, checklist, whatever that needs to be used in relation to each step. And we'll talk about that in the next point. Another tidbit which you should consider is that every time a firm or an accountant is working on a particular client, whether it's your A, B client or your A, B, and C clients as well, or the top 30, top 50 clients, however you classify it, make sure that when they're processing the job, they can come up with 1, 2, 3 other valued opportunities or areas of concern that needs to be discussed in relation to the financials. And that makes the accountant to just think a bit more about the processing, and think about the final outcome of the P&L and the balance sheet compared to last year, and any anomalies or areas of concerns or questions that need to be asked to the client. But when the work is completed, organize that face-to-face meeting with that top 30 or top 50 clients. You create the agenda. You discuss the value-added opportunities. You discuss about the areas of concerns and how you can help them minimize those concerns or fix those concerns. And book a meeting for the next financial year. I've created a 16-step workflow process I've released to my clients in the past to great effect, because the aim of the workflow process is threefold. One, to reduce the cost and the time of processing the work, to be far more proactive in the planning and the gathering of work and staging it from a capacity planning point of view. And three, consistency in the way we do things, and also with the tools we use, and have our own one type of work paper template and checklist and letter, etc., that's to be used for all our clients. Suffice to say that there may be some additional paragraphs we may need to put in for certain clients. That's more the exception than the rule. So the last thing to talk about is the work papers. What are your tools and templates? Let's just start with your top 15, maybe top 20 templates and checklists that you want to work on, because you found that your team are using their own, and we need a consistent setup from a firm point of view. Is it going to be part of your policies and procedure manuals? What do you need to look at other providers to your tools and templates, and they can provide them to you? There's some great providers out there who provide not only work papers, but also standard letters and templates and Excel spreadsheets that can be used as part of your workflow process. The aim is to promote consistency and making sure that everyone's covering off on everything that you want to cover off on. Because remember, all accounting firms are different, and the way we operate from a workflow process to the final outcome could be different to the other ways other accounting firms are operating. So we need to create the rules, and we need to create the process and how we want to service our client. The third area to consider is team. And whether or not you do have a team, this is still relevant because there could be the outsourcing and offshoring as well. But the areas to cover today are finding the team, getting the right people doing the right roles, setting a career path, and I'll provide some ideas there. Reward systems, and we'll just touch on that, and we'll also touch on managing performance, and we'll also touch on considering outsourcing and offshoring as well. So let's start finding with team. So there's probably about 4 or 5 ways we can go about finding really, really good team members. One is through our networks. Another one is through the traditional recruitment agencies, in which we all know can be quite expensive. Through online, either through Seek or Indeed, Indeed is a growing online tool that a lot of accounting firms are using these days, because it's free. Through LinkedIn, everyone's talking about LinkedIn these days. Or maybe the fifth one could be just asking the staff to see if there's anybody that they know that can fit the mold, and they'll like to work with you. So rather than paying a third party to people like LinkedIn, a recruiter or Seek, maybe you can offer them an incentive as well. But the issue is this: is that a lot of times I hear owners of accounting firms saying that they can't find good staff members. And to me, that's not entirely correct. They can't find good staff members when they need it. And they generally need good staff members when a person leaves or that they're terminated. My suggestion is that we continue advertising for staff members 12 months of the year, and also having a panel of recruitment agencies. It could be 2, it could be 5, it's up to you. But having at least a minimum of 2 recruitment agencies on your panel, always on the search for you to finding good staff members. Obviously, you need to provide a proper position description, a career path, if there's going to be a career path, and we'll talk about that in the next point. And also what your values are and what the cultural statement is. So although we may not be looking for somebody right now, there might be somebody that might come across their desk right now that will fit the position description, the criteria, your mission, vision, and values, and also your firm goals. And more importantly, the key competencies that you want them to meet as well. And that can present a wonderful challenge for you in the way that making a decision to see whether or not you can put them on, or hopefully that you can, and to try and find a way how they can work with you. It's a bit of a left field thinking, but it's some areas that we've worked with in the past with accounting firms that's worked quite well. The next area is offering a documented career path. And what does that mean to you? Making sure that the career path that you provide, that your team member or the employee is aligned with your goals and your values. You need to be specific in what and who you need, and be fair to the applicant. For example, if an applicant has a desire to be partner within 3 to 5 years, but at the same time, as far as your plan for succession, it's in 10 years' time, maybe they're not the right fit, and the discussion needs to happen. Or could be another example as well. We need to have proper position description and have training and development plans aligned with the practice growth. A great way to go about doing this is creating a core competencies for each role within the firm. And I'm talking about the income producing roles, which is graduate accountant, intermediate accountant, we may have a senior accountant, a senior manager, a manager, associate, and probably a partner level. what is the key criteria and what is the education, training and knowledge that they need to have in order to meet, to progress to that meet level, and how you're going to measure that from a benchmarking and KPI point of view. It could be a specialization as well. They may want to specialize in a particular area that you may either want to grow, or that a lot of your clients at the moment are in that particular area. But we also have to identify that a lot of accountants out there do not have aspire to be partners, or probably senior managers as well. And that's okay if it matches your firm, if it matches the goals and what you want to achieve with your firm. The other thing is reward systems. I'll quickly touch on that. And the two things I want to talk about is obviously salaries and making sure that we are paying at market. And there's some wonderful surveys out there that you can use. And obviously you can talk to your networks as well about how they're going about paying their employees. But as far as bonus structures are concerned, how do we classify bonus structures from both a quantitative and qualitative aspect? From a quantitative point of view and what they achieve, what would the bonus be? And I think what it could be is something that's more, it could be important to them, and to talk to them individually. You can ask them, they may want an extra leave over Christmas or during the course of the year. They might want you to pay for income protection as part of the bonus, or tickets to sporting or cultural events, maybe paying for their gym membership. And we understand FBT might be involved, but you guys are the accountants. And maybe it's just offering them a career path, so they need that mentoring and guidance. But whatever the bonus is, it must equate to the dollar value. So say, for example, if a particular team member has achieved what they need to achieve plus more, and the bonus for that equates to $1,000, we have to make sure that if they want the extra leave or the income protection or tickets or the gym membership, that equates to or up to $1,000. So we need to be cautious about that. But one thing I want to share with you as well is that from a reward system, is that make sure that you also measure on qualitative characteristics, how they treat the team, how they talk to the team as well, how they work with the clients. Are they good from that aspect as well? They might be good from a quantitative point of view, but from a qualitative point of view, there may be some measurements or performances that they need to meet. The next part is managing performance. And just quickly, I don't believe it's just about recording the hours in the timesheet and from a productivity point of view or the write-offs. I think it's a bit more than that. So a couple of ideas we can share from a performance management point of view is a jobs completed matrix in relation to the accuracy, whether or not I had to go back to the accountant, the timeliness, whether it's finished on time, and if it's completed on budget, and performance measure on that. Is it passing on efficiency information on software or processes and procedures that can be improved on, or that can be looked at or implemented? And even the value-added opportunity ideas that for the clients, how good were those value-added opportunities, and have that been implemented with the clients, and how's that going? And depending on the role in the business for the accountant, maybe the number of client visits they meet, and the number of calls. Are they required to make calls on a monthly basis to their portfolio of clients, or go and visit them say once a month or once a quarter? And maybe even a client satisfaction survey. So these are just some of the things that we can think about from a performance measurement point of view. But at the same time, what we need to consider as well is that how we will report back to the team member, whether we do a weekly or monthly. It has to be monthly at minimum, but maybe weekly as well. And the last thing I wanted to talk to you about today is outsourcing. And as I mentioned from the outset, there's been a lot of noise about outsourcing, and it's been a grey area for a lot of accountants around Australia, and that's fine. There's privacy issues, confidentiality issues, there's ethical issues in relation to the work being done here rather than being done overseas. It's all that. But I just want to share with you some what's happened in my experience. First of all, according to a survey by B-Star, just over 3 out of 10 accounting firms outsource at least some or some of their accounting work to overseas. They've identified that margins for the compliance fee is being squeezed because clients have been are shopping around for the service, and B, becoming more knowledgeable in the area. So they're doing a lot of the work themselves from a bookkeeping point of view. So the compliance side from margins has been minimised. But a lot of firms who are outsourcing at the moment are now having their accounting, tax, and compliance done by the outsourced staff, and having staff with strong advisory and business development skills in the main office. They're also the key point of contact. And that's not a bad model to my thinking. But at the same time, one thing we need to consider is a few things. One is that those staff members with the strong advisory and business development skills, they're reviewing more of the work, and they're coming up with more ideas on how to help the client with the value-added opportunities as well, and areas of concern. But if you're going to outsource, like I mentioned previously, there's going to be time taken to train up those people to the way you want the work to be done from start to finish. So there'll be time invested, and if you are outsourcing overseas, there will be time invested. You may have to fly out there as well. So that's a point of things and that you need to consider. Again, it's a short-term pain, but if structured right, done right, and by luck you get the right staff member, then hopefully after the second or third year you'll be able to have more reliance on your team overseas that can process more of the work. There's one final thing I want to touch on as far as team is concerned, is the meetings. I think there should be 3 types of meetings. A staff meeting, again, if you and creating an agenda for staff meeting, talking about what's working, not working, updates from the office champion in relation to changes in software, etc. Client experience, the findings from the review stage, and what you found. Is there any additional training needed? And are we following processes and procedures? And the value opportunities that have been implemented with clients that to great success, and getting feedback from the staff and giving the freedom to talk in that staff meeting. But again, there's also, you need to implement other things on the agenda as well that might be more important to you, or just as important to you, sorry. Having a weekly workflow meeting. What jobs will be going out this week? Are those jobs, will they exceed budget? And if they are, how come? What are the learnings from there? For a capacity planning point of view, identify the jobs that are coming in and when they need to go out by. And does the partner need to get involved from a query stage or from any other stage because the client hasn't responded to the queries or not provided the work that needs to be provided within a certain time frame? And also a partners meeting. And if you're a sole practitioner on the line today, having a staff meeting, workflow meeting, and partners meeting on your own, that's just fine as well. But as far as a partners meeting is concerned, we talk about the financials, the debtors, the upcoming cash outflows and inflows, the KPIs and benchmarks, how are we going according to those? The outcomes that we've had from the staff meeting and workflow meeting, the new clients that have come on board, where they came from and who referred us. How many clients have we lost and why did we lose those clients? The potential clients in the pipeline from a referrals point of view, again, whether they came from clients or strategic alliances, etc. And how many of those clients have we not only converted to clients, but we may have also converted to fixed fees? And getting an update from the lodgements from the ATO to see how we're tracking and progressing. And now we're going to make our lodgements on time. So I hope that clarifies a few issues of concern for the team and what you need to consider for planning for 2020. Let's go on to number 4, which is adding additional services. And I've broken this up into 2 parts. One is to expand your compliance offering, and also the second part is additional services that we can provide to our clients. So what do I mean by expanding our compliance offering? Most of us on the line today, and most of accountants, are generally not comfortable or traditionally comfortable with sales and marketing, and that's okay. We're more relationship building type people, And it does take us a while, rightly or wrongly, to form the relationships of trust with our clients and strategic alliances. But for us, with the clients that we've got on that today, I would start slowly to expand your compliance offering. Start with your top 30 to 50 clients. If it's less than that, that's fine. If it's more than that, that's fine as well. And what do I mean expanding your compliance offerings? Well, I would offer 4 additional services as part of the compliance offering. And by definition, the compliance offering is doing the end of year accounting and tax work for the client. But the additional services or the expansion of that is having an annual board meeting. So sitting down with those top 30, 50 A or B type clients and offer a face-to-face meeting when you've completed the accounts. That is the rule. It's part of the service, part of the offer. You create the agenda, you go through the accounts and identify what went well, what needs to be attended to, and show them how the cash was utilized, and is anywhere we can look at for cost savings point of view. We look at the key business drivers, both from internally and from a industry point of view. And if you're having the meeting on site at their premises, walk around those premises, identify some key issues in their processing, in their layout, and possibly in their staff behaviour as well. And also offer them a tax planning meeting. And some of you are doing this already, which is great. So as we know, in April or May, we meet with the client to conduct some interim accounts and reviews and providing the tax planning advice. I mean, you know what's required here. You basically get the interims for the first 9 to 10 months, do some annualization, do some adjustments, and see how we can structure in a way so they can minimize their tax. So the whole idea of doing that is to we're in front of the client more often, and more importantly, we can talk to the client about some of the areas of concern that you can help them with moving forward. But most importantly, is that when they do have an issue or a challenge in the future, you're in front of mind because you've always been in front of them. And as an extension of that, maybe you want to offer a quarterly board meeting. So you're offering an annual board meeting, and you're also offering a tax planning meeting. So that's twice. Maybe you want to see them 2 times a year to make it a quarterly meeting. And we can go through the accounts on a quarterly basis, and this could be in tune or in line with the best cycle as well. That's another option. Again, it's to make sure that we're at the forefront of the client's mind and the client's thinking if an issue or a challenge or even an opportunity has arisen. And the other thing we can do as part of the additional compliance offering is having a half-yearly function with our clients, making it like a networking event, introducing them to like-minded businesses that they could possibly do business with as well. And the second part of the additional services is the other services. So what do we mean? What do we mean by here? So we extend the accounting and compliance offering, and we're looking at to create recurring income. But most importantly, what does advisory services mean to you? And what is advisory services? What can you offer that makes you unique? And what can you offer to your clients that they need they need right now? How are you going to document and describe your service offering? Are you going to package it up, for argument's sake, having a bronze, silver, and gold package? Or are you going to have a menu of services? Or whatever you do, you've got to have a proof of concept and talk to some of your clients about it and what you want to do with the additional service offering that you're providing to your clients. And maybe you use a proof of concept with your strategic alliances as well. And do your clients know what the services you are offering at the moment? But you need to think about what are the client's needs. We don't want to create an additional service if the client doesn't need it. You need to articulate the value, and you have to have your team think about the opportunities when they're processing work and discussing that with your team and coming up with some sort of pattern of the type of services that our clients needs to should consider. How are you going to price for these services? The what, how, and why? And the great thing about it now is that most of the service offerings that additional services offerings that we can provide to our clients, we can embrace the technology and the software out there to help minimize the turnaround time and hopefully provide far more accurate, reliable, and aesthetically pleasing information. Whether you like it or not, your team's involvement is imperative, because you can't do this on your own. And if you don't have a team, then you can engage other people or consultants to help you implement those services as well. But some of us are stuck on what type of service offerings are concerned, needs to be provided. For example, we received a question and a point at the registration is how to develop the role of accountants as virtual CFOs for small business. So my response is we need to define what a CFO for small business is and what's the services that you can provide, the time taken, what you're going to do, and what you're not going to do as well. What will be the features of that service and the benefit to the client, and also who's it going to be for, and how you're going to price that. So additional services, it needs a bit more thought than what's being bandied out there as well. The last thing I want to talk to you about is information technology from an automation point of view. Talk to your current account manager about what you want to do. So we've spoken today about a couple of the areas to consider relating to delegation, documented processes, human resources, and adding additional services. All that, rightly or wrongly, needs the assistance of information technology and automation. My suggestion, my advice is that to talk to your account manager first and discuss with them exactly what you need and what you want out of the software, and see where they're at from that point of view. And also talk to their competitors and see what they've got. And as far as the add-ons are concerned, if you have a team, then that particular team member could be a specialist in that add-on. So here, automation is the key. But I must stress that for everybody out there, cloud technology is here to stay. And whether it's going to be implemented by all the vendors or also within the next 12 months or 5 years, it's here to stay. So as a side issue, one thing you need to look at is cybersecurity, virus protection, and redundancy planning as well. And what does that mean? And what does that, and what you need to do from a backup point of view. But going back to the cloud and the automation and the information technology, everybody in your team needs to be specialists in the software and to get the certifications as well as part of their point system from a reliability point of view and from an accounting point of view. You also need to figure out how do you get your clients onto the cloud. If you've got some clients who are still relying either on desktop or spreadsheets, there's a couple of decisions to be made. One is you can continue servicing the client as they are with how they provide the books and records to you. But there needs to be an increase in prices because the cost of doing that is you're not making good margins on it. Or secondly, you may want to refer that client onto another accountant. You need to use the technology to run your practice. Again, talk to your current supplier and the competitors and how they can go about assisting you in building the business. I've been quite disappointed with some of the larger ones out there, how they don't really follow through in relation to what they promise from a training point of view and from a guidance point of view as well. There's all been that hoo-ha in relation to what it can do and what it can provide, but that support just hasn't been entirely there. And so that's something that you need to really get down and get understanding of moving forward. But as far as the technology is concerned, there's two aspects to it. There's one is from your firm's needs. And as I mentioned before, cloud technology is here to stay. So from a practice management point of view, CRM, job flow, document management, self-managed super funds compliance, accounting and compliance for businesses and individuals, and corporate compliance. And probably most important, the cybersecurity side and protection side of your technology and your software, etc. And based on your client requirements, what do they need from a cash flow and forecasting software or business advisory software, such as a business planning or strategic planning software? Point of sale, can we become champions in that? A CRM or marketing software as well, and getting knowledge in that. Document management and storage. This is how we're going to all help our clients become automated and help them become processing their goods or service on a far more efficient basis. So the key here today really is from a few points. The 5 things we've spoken about today and what you need to consider is designed to free up your time. It could be thought-provoking as to how we can go about delegating time and delegating those authority to other members of your team or outsource it. What we need to consider when, from a career point of view and a career path when looking for and searching for employees and team, and making sure they're aligned to your mission, vision, and values as well. And also talking about a workflow process and your work papers, systems and procedures, templates and checklists, etc. Make sure we've got a uniform set. So all this saves time and all this saves energy, and we're utilizing the software out there to help us implement that. So we've got some time for some questions. Again, please feel free to add the part of the Q&A to add some questions or comments in the field. And there's been a great question about cybersecurity as well. How do you know if you're doing enough on the right thing before you get breached? Well, that's a great question. And I think from a cybersecurity point of view, go and talk to your IT provider, see if they're good at cybersecurity and they're knowledgeable in cybersecurity as well. And if they're not, please feel free to give me a call, and I can delegate a couple of people who are experts in cybersecurity as part of my panel, in which I can refer you to. Are there any other questions that have come up or things we need to discuss? Great. Well, what I'll do now is that we'll just finish up. Sorry. So from now, you've got 3 choices from here. You can continue going as you are and continue going as you are from your firm, and congratulations and good luck with the future of your firm. I wish you every success. You can take some or preferably all the ideas that we've discussed today and implement yourself, or you can seek the assistance of your business first, in which we keep you account, help you manage the change and keep everybody on track. And if I could just have a few more minutes of your time just to talk to you about how I work with professional services firms and their clients, I'd appreciate it. And don't forget, I'll be talking about an exciting offer at the end as well. So I offer 3 services. That's it: a Mastermind Alliance, Planning Day, Accountability and Implementation. So from a Mastermind Alliance is concerned, this is designed purely and simply for the clients for your clients. Getting them, meet with them for about 5 or 6 hours once a month. And there's no more than 15 to 20 in a group, and no 2 businesses from the same industry will be in that group. This is designed to value add. This is part of your value added process that you're providing to your clients and helping them to grow their business, because the aim of the Mastermind Alliance is to double the value of your client's business within 2 to 3 years. And for those who don't know what a mastermind group is, a mastermind group offers a combination of brainstorming, education, peer accountability, and support in a group setting to sharpen everybody's business skills and everybody's personal skills. The mastermind group that we've designed helps you and your members, perhaps the client and the members, achieve success. But most importantly, it provides a challenge to each member to set strong goals, and more importantly, to accomplish them and keep us accountable each month. So this is an exclusive membership for your clients. And the way it's also designed is that the owner and the partner of the accounting firm is also part of the Mastermind Alliance, in that which they can help individual businesses in the room assist them as well. The other part that we offer is the planning day. So with respect to the planning day, I'll invest 1 day with all business owners and up to 5 key team members to align firm-wide in the owner's vision and the goal set. The aim of the planning day is to understand what the owners want out of the business in the next 12 to 24 months and beyond. And we develop a plan to set you on a path over the next 12 to 24 months. Again, it's not a plan, it's not a day where we create mission, vision, and values, although that's very, very important. There may be some other priorities that we need to tackle in the first few months of the plan. But the way we've designed the planning day is terrific, because it also involves up to 5 key team members. So we start the day with the owners of the business only, and we go through a questionnaire. We talk about the challenges. We talk about their successes as well. We talk about their marketing, their team, and the successes and challenges with the team. How we go about providing the services to our clients, and the systems and the technology and the processes and procedures that are currently in place, and again the successes and frustrations we're experiencing with those. Then once we're done, when we get the key team members in the room, along with the owners, and we do a firm-wide SWOT analysis. We look at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We do a keep doing, stop doing, start doing session, and we also discuss who we are as a business and where we want to go as a team, and getting the team members involved in that too. We'll identify the priorities for the first 3 months with the owners, and we put that as part of the plan. And we'll create the plan for the next 12 to 24 months with responsibilities, who's managing those projects, and the measurabilities as well. And the last thing I want to talk to you about is, and the service that we provide to you and your clients, is the accountability implementation session. So once we've developed the plan, we've created a timetable with accountability, due dates, and measurabilities, you can walk away and implement yourself. But if you don't have the tools, infrastructure, or the resources, this is where our accountability and implementation service happens. So from an accountability point of view, we'll have a board meeting once a month, up to 2 hours, and we go through everything relating to the business, which includes, and not limited to, the financials, looking at the budgets compared to the profit and loss, looking at our debtors and creditors, looking at individual KPIs and firm-wide KPIs as well, where we can, and who's succeeding and who needs assistance. We'll look at the plan as well, and making sure that we're up to date with the plan and to the due dates, and also to the measurabilities. And we'll look at our marketing, the amount of leads that come in, and who's referred us to those leads from our strategic alliances, or is it from our clients. And we look at employee issues as well, what's working and not working from a processing and from an efficiency point of view. So we look at everything relating to the business, and do we need to reprioritize a plan as well. And as an extension of that, again, if you don't have the resources or the team members to implement the plan, I will come in and implement the plan for you as part of our general management, business management service. So we'll come in either fortnightly, weekly, or 2 days a week, whether it's working remotely or on site, and I will implement the plan for you. So we leverage off my IP with tools, systems, and resources. I'm responsible for the outcome of the plan, and I'll prepare the KPIs and all the reports are required for the board meeting as well, in which I participate. So thank you for allowing me to share the service offerings I provide. And what I'd like to do now is offer today a complimentary 60-minute meeting with you. I'd love to get to know a bit more about your business and how you're going. So as far as this complimentary 60-minute meeting is concerned, it includes ask me anything about your burning questions, and discuss your current challenges with me in confidence and without judgment. I'll be there with you for 60 minutes and to hear those and share the ideas on how we can overcome those challenges and answer those burning questions. If you've got a business plan or a strategic plan, we can look at that and see how you're going with that from a timing point of view. But at the end, we'll agree on some key strategies for you to get started. Again, there's no risk, there's no obligation, there's just assistance. If you want to take up this complimentary 60-minute meeting, please feel free to contact me on the mobile there, which is 0407 823 633, or send an email to inquiries@yourbusinessfirst.com.au. And for those who are in Melbourne, I'm more than happy to come and visit your office. And if you're in regional Victoria or interstate, we can organise a Zoom meeting and have all the owners in the room, and maybe even a couple of your team members in that meeting as well, so we can have that part of the that as part of the 60-minute meeting. I thank you very much for your time today. I wish you all the best with your future. Thank you for your attendance. Expect a phone call from me over the next couple of days just to talk to you a bit more about your business and how you found this session. Thank you again, and I wish you an enjoyable day. Take care.